Okay, my topic then, while you all control yourselves, you animals, is when do you quit? When...
Now!
I am out.
When someone recommends something to you, and they're like... So, for example, Breaking Bad. Have we all watched Breaking Bad here?
I have watched Breaking Bad.
You've not watched Breaking Bad? Okay, but that's a good example though. When everyone's like, oh my god, you should watch Breaking Bad.
They have been.
You really need to watch Breaking Bad. And then so you watch 2 or 3 episodes, you're like, I'm not really feeling this. I don't like this. I don't think this is my bag. Do you keep going because everyone's like, no, it's the best thing ever made? Or are you like, no.
Well, it's funny that you've actually said it, because I've done the exact same thing with Game of Thrones. Everyone has gone nuts saying how incredible it is. I think I got to the start of season 2, watched about 4 episodes, and then went, I don't care. That was the thing. I don't care. I don't care what happens to any of these characters. I don't care that I'm going to not see the next episode. And then I just never went back to it. And now everyone's talking about it like it's the best thing ever. And I don't even know. I respect that people like it. I respect it's a very good show. Yeah. Well cast. Well, it's all over. It's brilliant. But I didn't feel like I need to go back. Yeah. And even now when people are talking about it, I don't feel like I need to go back.
Yeah, and it goes beyond that as well. I mean... with so many things just coming out every minute now, like games and everything. Like the Steam Summer Sale is going to start soon, if not already.
I think it started.
Yeah, the amount of stuff on there that you're like, oh, that's really good. People said I should play that. Oh, I should play that, play it. And you build up this massive thing and you start playing a game, you're like, oh, I don't really like this, but people say it's really good. It's like, do you stick it out or do you just call it quits and be like, no, not for me, don't care?
Well, before I give my opinion, I'd say what part of the big problem is you're building up your expectations, and when someone tells you Breaking Bad's the best thing ever, and it is amazing, but you're expecting so much from it, can never possibly live up to what you're expecting. This is the problem with some games. I mentioned Half-Life 3 and the E3 thing, and it's been so long coming out. How on earth is that game ever going to live up to people's expectations? I mean...
it's slightly different. I mean, what I mean is, like, if someone recommended the Half-Life series to you, and you started playing 1, and you got like an hour in, you're like, this is terrible. Why are people talking about this?
Should you carry on saying it? Like,
play it for the sake of it, or would you only play it if you enjoy it?
It's weird. I think I found that with The Wire.
With the Bioshocks.
No, with The Wire TV series. And I haven't finished watching it all, but series...
The Wire,
yeah. I understand why it's great casting. Same with you, Game of Thrones, I suppose. I'm going to carry on with it and try and finish it. But even series 1, it took me a good 5 episodes before I started. There's a lot of characters for one. It took me like 5 or 6 episodes before I started to really love it. And then by series 2, the setting had completely changed. And I just, because the characters had changed and everything, there's so many more characters to follow.
Yeah.
I didn't continue with it. So when should you quit?
But that's the thing, you've just said there, I'm still going to continue with it. I haven't making that decision. I've just said I'm not going to watch it. But you're still going to force yourself to watch it even though you don't like it.
No, because I like it. I think it's really well cast and stuff, but I find it hard to invest myself in it. I can't just turn it on and drop in and be like, yes, I'm in the zone. I mean, this is The Wire time. It's a sort of TV show. If you turn, I imagine Game of Thrones is the same.
Yeah, but it is
a lot
now.
Of characters. It's like turn your head away, you miss something. It's like, shit, I've got to go and rewind it now.
Yeah, what's happened?
It's hard to. I find it really hard to invest myself in. Breaking Bad, I loved because a few characters are really attached to, and I found it easy to follow.
I honestly found that a problem with Breaking Bad.
Well, having a few characters.
Yeah, because by season 3, I ended up just hating everybody in that show. Like, I gave up with Breaking Bad. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I came back to it, and watched it all through again, and then watched it like to the end, and it was great, really good, and it did pick up. But around the start of season 3, I just gave up.
Yeah.
Like. Jesse was moping around the house.
Yes.
Walt is no longer likable. Gus is kind of a stone wall. At this point, Mike isn't really in it very much. And I believe...
We'll try and stay spoiler-free.
Oh, yeah. I'm staying spoiler-free. But, it's... I found it difficult because of that, because there was nobody I can really latch onto, whereas if in Game of Thrones I'm bored with, I don't know, the Bran storyline, I know that, you know, in a few minutes' time it's going to cut back to Tyrion or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but I found that like kind of the opposite to what you guys were saying. Like, with something like I only tend to stick with a TV show if I have like any kind of brand loyalty, I guess. I watched Game of Thrones because I'd read the books, and I watched Twin Peaks recently because I love David Lynch.
All of the Game of Thrones books. I heard they're like really, really heavy reading.
Relatively.
I've heard
I don't like pop lit though. That's the sort of stuff I read. I don't like sort of I don't know, easy reading stuff. I like sort of dense literature like
I've heard
Frank
that
Herbert
they're kicking off at
George
the
R. R.
moment because
Martin.
it hasn't stuck to the book. It's about to change, or it has just changed.
Yeah,
or
it's changed significantly from the book. Yeah,
And
without spoiling anything, for the worse or for the better.
Yeah.
I would argue mostly for the worst. There are changes that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But because these two over here haven't seen it, we're going to stay spoiler free. So unfortunately, we can't discuss
I've seen this one.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
seen this one.
Oh, have you not?
No, I have seen this one.
Oh, you have?
I'm saying. I'm on board for this.
Well, with something like Twin Peaks, I really, really loved the first season, so I didn't have any problem getting through it. But by the second season, it gets really shit. Like 3 episodes in, you find out essentially.
Careful.
But like
I'm not spoiling
things, aren't they? Basically, with season, like the different seasons.
Yeah, well, with Twin Peaks, it's a little bit like the second season. It's sort of I don't know. Something is resolved that is set up in the first series as the big thing that needs to be resolved, and it's resolved like 3 episodes into the second season, and then for the rest of the season, it's kind of treading water. And I only stuck with it because I know that, oddly enough, to bring us back to a previous topic, is Twin Peaks is essentially being rebooted.
Yeah.
For like a modern audience, but with the same director, the same cast. It's essentially a sequel series, like a series 3, but because it's happening now, it's considered to be a reboot because it's like 20 years later.
There's a couple of things with regards to Game of Thrones as well. I thought I really like the series, so I started reading the books, and I just couldn't get into the books. Like, I suppose I'm the opposite to you as well. It's like I couldn't get through it. There's just so many
words.
Yeah, so many words and it's so small.
So many letters.
There's just letters.
But now I
There's
just
like a
like
picture on the front and back as well.
because I found it hard to like remember the names in Game of Thrones anyway. There's so many.
Yeah,
so when I'm
I
reading
do.
the book and I don't have any kind of
I
visual
know.
reference, and they just like drop a name or like a nickname, that's the worst. They have like.
No, but that's the beauty in the
names.
book is they describe what they look like.
Yeah, but it's just like, but this is an old guy. This is an old guy. It's like,
He doesn't describe it like that.
Old guy,
yeah, no,
old guy.
no, but like, that's something.
An
I
old
was
guy
just
walked
like,
into a room. He was an old guy. And another old guy walked into a room.
That's when I was like, oh, okay, this isn't for me. But then there's been times where I've started to read a book and I've really liked it, and then hated other things because of it. And like the Hobbit films, like I absolutely love the Hobbit book. It's one of my favourite books of all time. And then I watched the first one at the cinema. I was like, I'm not watching any more of these at the cinema.
Really?
Yeah, it's always so disappointing.
didn't watch
You dodged a bullet there.
So
The
disappointing.
Hobbit films are incredibly disappointing,
I didn't
especially
watch the
when they
third
come
one.
from Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I watched
I
that on
haven't
Netflix.
watched the third one.
No,
I avoided it.
I've seen it now, but it took me
Because
almost
me
a
and
year
my
to
girlfriend
watch.
almost walked out of the second one because it was just so like sort of bad. I hesitated to say bad then, but I actually feel like it applies. Like they're played for laughs the most of the way through. They're just.
I was thinking
sort of-
the Hobbit is supposed to be more light-hearted. I'll give it quite a good review, but
No, it is meant to
It's
be
meant to be
light-hearted.
light-
The films
yeah.
are not.
Yeah.
The films are completely not in
I
tone
watched
with the book.
It's meant to be light-hearted in a sort of. In a light way. They're not light. What they try to have their cake and eat it. They try to be a sort of a fun, jubilant sort of romp through the, what was essentially Tolkien was writing as the English countryside with a group of little sort of fairies from the woods, and he tries to do that sort of fun, but then tries to inject it with sort of the Lord of the Rings style heft and battle scenes, and it just clashes so completely, and you realise they were written by a writer who was in 2 completely different situations. Those books are completely different. They canonically fit. But Lord of the Rings is essentially a soft reboot of The Hobbit.
I still do like the Hobbit films, and I've finally seen the last one. I think the third one was better than the first 2. I've got to agree though, it isn't like the Hobbit happy adventure. It is more like Lord of the Rings.
Well, no, it tries to be.
Yeah.
Whereas Lord of the Rings has, I think everyone will agree that the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, is a classic.
Yes. Okay.
In tone and casting and
they get everything
how it's
right.
written
The Hobbit
and
doesn't get
everything. Yeah, and The Hobbit gets a few things right in that it got Tim from The Office. What's his name?
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Oh,
He got Martin Freeman right.
cast
He
were
carryover cast were great, but reintroducing certain members of them wasn't a good idea. I mean, it was just you can see it was all part on.
I like the visual aesthetic. I think I was sold a lot on it, even though I was angry about them again using CG so much. That really annoyed me, but he still kept that really beautiful sort of visual aesthetic from like the Lord of the Rings. Bit too CGI though. I still like the films, but they did not need to make 3-hour films out of The Hobbit. No, it's ridiculous.
And the other side of this as well is, if you haven't quit, what have you like hate watched? Like, is there something that you've watched just so you can like criticize it and be like,
yes,
I'm gonna watch
the
this.
Transformers films.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
because I watched the first one and thought, that was kind of crap and a bit offensive. I watched the second one and was like, oh, that's the worst film I've ever seen.
Oh,
like,
that was
genuinely,
the last one was deliberate.
They were actually going for that horrible, nasty, leering, sort of evil tone that they were going for in the last one, where everything was even more offensive, more sexist, more racist, like just hideously, incomparably bad, and like everything about that film is just utterly fucking terrible. And they didn't like there was no.
I like that film then.
Oh man. Yeah,
This is where he flips around and goes,
Anyway.
So hate watch came back for the third one. I haven't watched the fourth one yet. I haven't sort of drank enough beer yet at any point to put myself through that, but I would still watch it, I think, just to see how bad it is. And what I'd probably do is not pay any money to watch it.
That's it. Mrs. Hale.
I wouldn't go to the cinema to watch it. I remember I watched 2 because it was what?
So I was like, Mrs. Hale. It's like, yeah, so anyway.
Sorry. That was me breathing. Sorry.
This is going to be a big one, but probably you guys might have not even seen it, but I hate watched 50 Shades of Grey. It was awful.
I can see why you do that.
Oh dear God. It needed to be it needed to be watched because everyone was going crazy about it. I read the first book and it was dire. The woman cannot write whatsoever. It's
fanfic.
I knew that from when I saw the names of the characters. Anastasia Steele. What the fuck is that?
They start off. I love that
yeah.
you know the full name.
Maximilian Treehorn. What are your name? That's my name. My name is Entwistle Dustbin Lid. You know, just completely stupid.
It's ridiculous.
I just waiting for the Mr. Skin edition.
Aha.
Oh, that was awkward.
Well, I was going to talk more about this subject, but Luke's just ruined it. So we'll stop that one there and move on.
I remember hate watching, incidentally, just to bring it back around to hate watching something if there's no hump, just to the point of this is going to be terrible, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. Twilight.
Yeah.
Right.
gone back and done
watched the Twilight films initially thinking I'm going to hate these. This is going to be hilarious.
But you find out they're pretty good.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're fucking awful.
Yeah.
I fucking love the
Awful.
Twilight. Honestly, Luke, they are so funny. They are so funny. Just watching them as
in the sunlight.
Yeah, no, but watching them as
God,
like
that's your only problem.
amusing. Like, no, because having a problem with what vampires do canonically is stupid. Because sometimes they can fly, sometimes they're offended by garlic. That's irrelevant. The point is, they're terribly written, they're badly acted, they're mostly badly directed, except for, I'd probably argue, the third one.
Eclipse, yeah.
Yeah, Eclipse is the one that's kind of closest to being a good film.
Yeah.
But they're all
that's because of
they're
all the
all
battle.
awful.
That's
like they're
because
all
there's a
awful.
giant battle
But
in it.
I would argue that they are awful to the point of just completely hilarious.
So they verge on.
They verge on
movies. So.
Yeah. Oh,
All right,
completely.
okay,
Completely.
No, see, it's like, I think
the
it's
last
like-
one has like a battle scene in it.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah. You
that.
guys. I'm not gonna. I think we can. It's been long enough since Twilight came out that we can spoil it. The last one, there is this crazy battle scene. Like loads of characters you've known for like all these films just die.
Yeah.
Just get their heads ripped off, and
Yeah.
you're like, woo! You know, it's amazing, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe these things are happening.
Yeah.
And like the one character I kind of was invested in, like this character who was from like back in the sort of Civil War period of America. I was like, oh my god, he dies. You know, he was the one character I was kind of invested in. And then you see this.
Oh. And it was
a
fake.
vision.
It was just
It was a vision. I watched this, right, and you could hear in the cinema
Everyone going,
what?
Yeah.
Like it was like a People were
Like, she just stood up and be like, oh, look, she just go, what load of bollocks, and just walked out.
Well, that's essentially what
in
people
all
were saying.
fairness, I've got to admit, I mean, I went with Matt, and literally, my husband was about to just walk out because he said, that is ridiculous. He said, that was the best part of the film. And it didn't even happen. It didn't even happen. I think the problem I struggled with is,
it was like film 101. It was all a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the last Harry Potter, and he wakes up under the stairs?
Hagrid's
Oh my
standing there,
god,
like,
that'd be so. That'd be amazing.
That'd be
incredibly
insane.
depressing.
It really would.
If you
but
woke
that's
up under the bed and it was all a dream, and turns out actually I'm not a wizard. I've just been shit on.
Wizard Harry.
Wizards aren't real. How did I not realise?
God, it's like that episode of Buffy where like nobody else watched Buffy.
Oh, I love Buffy, man. It's wicked.
Like that one episode of Buffy where she gets like attacked by a monster and like she wakes up.
Really? There's one episode when she gets
okay,
by a monster?
but it's a play on that, right? If you let me finish, the play is that she gets attacked by this monster and she wakes up in an insane asylum, and all of her family is still alive who've died, and she's imagined the whole thing, and you can't really disprove that episode. Like that episode exists as an anomaly, but it's interesting. That was a massive tangent from what we were talking about.
It was,
Yeah.
So, wrapping up,
Wrapping
should we
up.
continue? Sometimes, yes, I think you do need to push it.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings books, I really had to force myself through, and then I absolutely loved them. Other times, you're denying yourself for something you could be enjoying. So the only thing you can really do is play it by ear. If something's causing you that much, I don't know what the word, like distaste or whatever, move on. And we had a conversation about this. I got really into like science books and that recently, and then I started reading one which completely put me off because it was so boring, and I stopped reading then. And I was reading like one after the other.
Was it like an academic textbook or like?
Weren't you trying to do the theory?
He was trying to do sums.
Brief
He was trying to
time.
add.
One.
He was trying to add up.
No, I read like the Stephen Hawking book, and I started reading this one about religion and faith, and I thought, but this has got some interesting theories, and it wasn't. It's just, no point going on about it.
Which one?
It was just I can't remember what it's called now, but basically, it was a good example of how if you do force yourself, sometimes it can be negative. So sometimes it's best to move on. Sometimes it's best to grit your teeth. There isn't.
I think it's a complete personal preference. I think how you feel about it, but don't be forced into watching something, reading something, playing something just because everyone else is. I think we're old enough to not be peer pressured into forcing yourself of wasting your time doing something, watching something, reading something that you do not want
Smallville. That was my hate watch.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you love Smallville. I thought you'd actually
Exactly. I was like, I'm gonna hate this. This sounds like the worst concept in the world. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Ironically, I thought it'd be so awful. I ended up quite liking it.
Yeah.
I stopped watching the last few series, so I got bored in the end. But I thought it was alright.
I'd say I only stick to things like I think I only get over the hump when I'm really committed to something that I know is going to be good. I committed to Twin Peaks despite the fact the second season was shit. Because I knew there was a new season coming out and I like his other stuff, and I'm like, okay, so this is going to get good eventually.
Cool, man.
Sweet.
Next one.
Topic.
Topic.